Adit, if the pressure builds, what are some of the challenges India is looking at legally, morally? What are the challenges that India is looking at? Because Air Commodore rightly pointed out, the idea is not to starve a population, but to ensure that enough and more action is taken. Action, proof of which can be rendered to India that Pakistan is finally waking up to the reality, waking up to the fact that it can no more be a harbor and a sponsor of terror if it wants that Indus Water Treaty to be kept and to be held by India as well. So how do we then respond to some of the threats that could be emerging if this narrative were to get stronger?
So I think, if you look at the narrative that Chatham House tried to stitch up, it stands on very flimsy ground. They completely disregard the fact that, as an upper riparian, country, we are actually giving much more. It's completely, there is no other treaty in the world which can match the Indus Water Treaty. So our share of the water is also being utilized by the Pakistanis. So the sharing ratio needs to be 80-20. Not only are they mismanaging their own share of water, but whatever India is letting go of their share, their proportion, they're also mismanaging that. And as a consequence, they have actually not invested anything within the infrastructure of their plants, of their desilting. Pakistan hasn't gone through the desilting process in decades. So it's a complete shoddy mismanagement job of the Pakistani establishment, which is being deflected in the grand scheme of things, and which is why Chatham House has been paid to run this cheap narrative. And look at the irony of it all. They're using an Indian to actually write this particular feral narrative. It's Bhargavi Bhardwaj. She's a graduate from London School of Economics who's actually writing this particular narrative, and she's been exposed on social media multiple number of times. But I think let us call out the Indian government and let us acknowledge their stance. The fact that they've decided to show spine, that faucets of water cannot go hand in hand with spilling of blood. I mean, that is, the message which has gone out to Pakistan. This could have gone much more kinetic, but instead of taking it kinetic, all India is doing is India sending out a warning that, you better, dismantle your terror infrastructure, or else, we will have to stop cooperating with you on the Indus Water Treaty. India is actually not stopping the flow of water. What they're doing is far more, will have far more sinister consequences in Pakistan, especially during the monsoon seasons, when there is no intelligence sharing done between India and Pakistan, and the warnings of floods, which are normally provided to Pakistan way in advance, if they do not come at time, that could have devastating impact, especially in Punjab region, which is maximum beneficiary of the Indus Water Treaty. So all in all, I think India has done a fantastic job from that perspective. Internally, India is also, coming up, like Air Commodore Singh basically pointed out, that we're coming up with the 1800 megawatt project, the Sawalkot hydroelectric project, and then we also have reservoir flushing that is happening in Salal and Bagilgarh. So all of these projects which are happening within a year's time demonstrates that India is very serious about this subject, and Pakistan really has only one option with them, which is to dismantle their terror infrastructure. All of this, using Western academia and Western pressure houses, is going to really have no impact on India. Madam Ambassador Bhaswati Mukherjee pointed out about Fali Nariman basically fighting that case of the Kishan Ganga in 2012. Pakistan still hasn't paid the damages of those legal damages to India yet. So I don't think they really have an option to go legal in the grand scheme of things. They really have no funds to either, solve the problem internally or go legal. So Pakistan's quite in a bit of a bind at this point, Shweta.